Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Darryl Bumpass Sr. joining us here once again, an amazing author, yes, of many books. He's a best-selling author. Let's confirm that for sure. Also, he's a coach. He's here to help you get everything in life that you want, that you deserve, and now is the time. And also, he's an amazing public speaker for hire, and he's really inspiring so many worldwide with all of his coaching sessions for individuals, groups, corporations, you name it, he does it. Darryl, welcome back today. How are you?
I'm good, Jill. I appreciate you having me here. And how are you doing?
Good. We need to talk.
We need to talk.
I'm just reading one of your book covers, one of many. I'm doing great. How many books have you authored now?
5 books, Jill.
Unbelievable. I know we focused last time on, income, right? In that book, but there's others. Mr. and Mrs. Distraction. I know you hear me, but are you listening? We need to talk. What are we talking about today? Perfect segue.
Yeah, exactly. We need to talk. Perfect segue to clarify your expectations. We need to clarify our expectations. We seem to have expectations for others, but we don't have expectations for ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? We always saying to others, this is what I want. You don't hear me, you don't get me, you don't understand me.
Mm-hmm.
But are we communicating our expectations to ourselves in order to be able to relay it to others and other people that are in our circles, be it co-workers, spouses, associates, family members? At times, we're just always pointing the finger and saying, you don't hear me. You don't hear me. You don't hear me.
Yeah.
I need you to listen to me. I need you to see me.
Listen up. Yep.
But how can they see us? How can they hear us? How can they know our expectations if we don't even know our expectations? That's not fair to them. So I believe that we need to have that communication with ourselves. We need to explain to others what our expectations are. We need to clarify our expectations.
And there's no harm in that, and being honest and truthful. Clarify it up front. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things some people say, and I'm sure some of our listeners may disagree, but I feel in a divorce, right? Whether it's a business divorce or a personal divorce, because you can have divorces in both situations, personal and relationship, right? Sometimes you're in business with a partner and you may parting ways. You may end up having a divorce with a partner. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people say that some people may feel that the number one thing is infidelity, right? Number two thing, or maybe number one also, they may think, it depends on the perspective, may feel that it's financial hardships that may have occurred. For me, my opinion is I think it's lack of communication. Without communication, you can't explain your expectations of one another. Mm-hmm. You can't explain the expectations for your financial situations. You can't explain the expectations of our future as business partners, as spouses. Mm-hmm. So I believe that the number one reason is lack of communication. Okay. Lack of communication. So what I would say is that think about and clarifying your expectations to yourself before we even approach others. Okay. Think about what you hope for. The things that you hope for in your life, in your career, in your relationships, in your personal growth. The expectation that you have for yourself and your personal growth. And also decide that enough is enough. Enough is enough. And start taking the first steps to your meeting your expectations. And one of the most important things I would suggest, or I would recommend to add to these tips, would be avoid discretion and stay focused. Avoid anyone or anything that's going to distract you from your meeting your expectations. Now, I mentioned distract because in my backdrop, you can see the book, Mr. and Mrs. Distraction, available on Amazon.com and also my website.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to avoid any digression. You want to avoid any distractions that's going to interfere with you meeting your expectations. Don't allow others to interfere with your expectations that you have for yourself. And once you start taking the first steps to these expectations, manage them in small denominations where that they can become much more manageable. A lot of times we take on our goals.
So much, yep.
Right, Joe? We take on these big
Mm-hmm.
goals. We take on these big expectations that we have ourselves. We take on these big challenges that we have for ourselves. But what we should do is just take it one step at a time,
Yeah.
so that it's much more manageable in our personal life, professional life, and our relationships.
Mm-hmm. Aw. There's so much you got me thinking, about life, about relationships, about my own self, my friends, my family, life in general, is so darn precious. And yeah, but not everyone has that motivation. You motivate me, you're motivating many listening to us, and I hope we can work with you. But it's true. Sometimes you need that judge, that motivation, that push is what we call it, right?
You need that push. You
Mm-hmm.
need that push, and I'm the person that will push you. I'm the person that will be your sounding board. So
Mm-hmm.
I challenge you, if you're ready to meet your expectations, if you're ready to get that clarity in your life, then I
Mm-hmm.
challenge you to book a life coaching session. You
Yeah.
can go to darrylbumpass.com. That's darrylbumpass.com, and I challenge you to go after your dreams. I challenge you to take action. I dare you to get out of your own way. But the only way you can reach these goals and the only way you can make this possible is by understanding what your expectations are.
So
You know,
true.
at the beginning of every year, when that ball drops in Times Square, I'm writing a list while everyone else is toasting the champagne and being happy for the new year comes in. I'm already writing a list down for what my expectations are for that new year.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah.
Right now, I'm not saying we shouldn't open up the champagne. We shouldn't celebrate the new year, but at least
Mm-hmm.
have a list next to that champagne bottle or next to that champagne
Oh,
glass.
yeah.
Right? Because at the beginning of the year, you're already planning. Like they say,
Mm-hmm.
it's a new book. It's a clean slate. So you have 365 days
Yeah.
of a whole new book, of a whole new chapter you can create in your life.
Mm-hmm.
But by incorporating that list, you'll
Ah.
be able to understand what the plan is.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be able to understand how to trust the process in your expectations for yourself.
So true.
We get frustrated with ourselves, or rather frustrated with others,
Mm-hmm.
because we're not clear on our expectations. We're not clear on our destination.
And there's nothing wrong with that, letting it be known. Let's remind us, Darryl, the website, contact number. I don't think we established that, but hopefully you guys are still listening. Let's remind them. Darryl Bumpass Sr., DarrylBumpassSR.com is the website. And where else do you want to lead people to?
You can go to social media and follow me across all social media platforms. That's Darryl Bumpass Sr. across all social media platforms. And to invest in yourself and invest in my books, you can go to darrylbumpassr.com or amazon.com, and you'll be able to purchase and invest in all 5 copies of my book.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. What else
Yeah.
for clarification today, Darryl? What else do you have for us?
Yeah, so I want to talk to our listeners also about conflict resolution. Conflict resolution. I want to give some tips on how we can deal with conflict resolution. And number one tip is defining and recognizing the conflict.
Yeah.
Defining and recognizing the conflict. Number two would be conscious of your body and how you speak. Be conscious of your body and how you speak. Next would be outline what your acceptable behaviors look like. What are you willing to accept? What are you willing to tolerate in yourself and in others? A lot of times we allow so much room for people to misbehave in our lives without any type of giving it any attention or giving it the proper attention.
Yeah.
So we have to outline what we are willing to accept, what type of behavior we are willing to accept, what the behavior looks like. For myself, I always say that I am now aware of any bad energy that is trying to enter my life. So conflict resolution. Next one would be create a safe space to talk. Create a safe space to talk. I touched on communication earlier. Have that safe space to talk to yourself about the conflict, and maybe even a safe space to speak to the person that you are having the conflict with.
Yeah.
It's amazing how when people feel safe, you can come to a resolution pretty quickly. But a lot of times when you're talking to someone, they are already preparing themselves for the defense.
Yeah.
Instead of listening. Instead of listening. Hence my book, I Know You Hear Me, but Are You Listening? I know you hear me, but are you listening? Available on amazon.com. We have to listen more than creating so much of a dialogue. If everyone is talking, then no one is listening.
Yeah.
If no one is listening, then we're not creating a safe space where that we can feel vulnerable enough to express ourselves in this conflict. Instead, we're becoming defensive, and now everyone is walking away as the victim or as a victim.
Yeah.
Because we didn't resolve the conflict resolution. And in that discussion, one of the tips I would like to include is reposition the conflict as an opportunity. Look at it as an opportunity. Maybe we may disagree in this moment. Maybe I may disagree with someone in this moment, but this moment may also create an opportunity for the both of us to understand one another much better. You know, I subscribe to, after 5 minutes of a conversation, if there's no progress, then what's the point?
Yeah.
Because we're just going in circles, Jill. We're just going in circles because no one is listening.
Yeah.
Now, if I take time out and create this conflict as an opportunity, or reposition it as an opportunity, I can hear what Jill is saying. I can hear what someone else is saying. Let me take advantage of this opportunity. And not also, I might add, it's an opportunity for growth.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just step back and listen and understand what that person is saying.
Mm.
Or even what your spirit is saying,
So
even
true.
what your mind is saying, what your body is saying, because at times we are in conflict with ourselves also.
True.
So listen to yourself and understand and the expectations that you have for yourself, and start setting out and meeting your common goals and targets with your expectations.
Beautiful. It's true. And now is the time to make that happen. Darryl, some of the clients that you're working with, I'm sure, can speak volumes about the testimonials and the work you do. And we've heard some great testimonials of your clients in the past. And as a number one best-selling author, just got to remind you all, as a coach, a public speaker, Darryl Bumpass Sr. is here joining us, really helping you dream big and accomplish your goals. And is there, as a certified life coach, you're touching the lives of many in so many different aspects and lives. Is there someone that you're working with, recently, that you want to share another story or two about their journey, about their self-discovery, about the process, and about why they're like, thank God we found you, Darryl. You're amazing.
Well, I won't go into detail as I stated before, but I definitely respect confidentiality for my clients. But I can give, a brief synopsis of one of my clients that came to me, and she was at okay, I'll use another client. He was at a point in his life where he was ready to transition from what he was doing in his previous job. He was a mechanic, believe it or not, but he felt as if there was more to life than what he wanted to
Mm-hmm.
do. He wanted
Yeah.
to he wanted to start his own business.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to travel the world.
Yeah.
He had so many things that he wanted to see, wherever you are, I just want to say to people that there's so much of a big world past the Lincoln Tunnel. There's so much of a big world past the George Washington Bridge. There's so much of a world outside that's past the New Jersey Turnpike. There's so much of a world past
Yeah.
Mykonos or Monaco.
Yeah.
There's so much a world, so much of life.
Mm-hmm.
So I was telling him that I'm first proud of him of taking the first step to coming to me and
Mm.
booking a session, knowing that he was ready to get out his own way and
Yep.
he was ready to enjoy his life and experience life. So we began working together, and the conflict that he was dealing with is that his wife saw him as one person or one way for so many years,
Yeah.
but he was ready to change and step into a new chapter. But he was having a battle with trying to explain to her this new change, this newfound look that he has on life.
Yeah.
So what I suggested to him is that at
Mm-hmm.
times it's easier to
Yeah.
show someone than to tell them.
Sure. Yeah.
So if you're saying that, okay, I don't want to do this, I've been working on cars for so many years or so.
Yeah.
But if she starts saying that you're taking action
Yeah.
and not just talking about what you want to do, but you're taking action and doing things that you want to do. So I suggested to him to start taking up classes, such as visiting a company called SCORE. SCORE is a company that have executive retired execs, and they will give you will give you business advice.
Mm-hmm.
So go and spend a day, or not a day, but an hour or a time with them
Yeah.
so that they can give you direction. And while you're in the process of doing this on this new journey, bring her along with you.
Yeah.
So that way you're not just outside the home and she's not understanding what you're doing. Bring her along with you so she can understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
Start going to seminars. start surrounding yourself with like-minded people. But while you're on this journey, bring her along with you. So after maybe our third session, he came back so happy and excited to say, you know, Darryl, she wants to start the business with me also.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to tell someone your dream, but when it's hard to tell someone your dream, but it's easier when you can show them and they can walk the path with you.
Yeah.
So now, fast forward several years later, he has a flourishing new business now. Believe it or not, he turned his passion into a business because he wanted to travel the world. So he became a travel agent.
Wow.
With his own travel agency company. And him and his wife, after several years now, they have a flourishing business. And he's happy that he took the first step.
And that's it. It's about taking that first step. And a lot of people take the first step and they're scared and it doesn't work out. At least you try. It's
Right,
that little engine. I think I can. I think I can. I know I can. I know I can. It's
right,
like you gotta just try. Try to tell my kids that all the time. Yeah.
right, right. Those affirmations, I can, I am, I will. These are techniques and tips that I also shared with him that he should apply and use in the morning and in the evenings, whichever he prefer, but I prefer to use them in the morning so that way you get your day started.
Yeah.
Also, he was dealing with a lot of stress because he was fearful of this step that he was about to take. So one of the techniques I instructed him or advised him to use is something I like to use. This is something simple. We can do it right now. People that are listening, they can start right now. Take a deep breath. It's free.
Yeah.
When you feel like you're starting to have this fear come up in your life at this moment in time, take a deep breath. It is free. And believe it or not, in addition to that, smile.
Yes.
It becomes contagious. Just smile at yourself. But take that deep breath.
Yeah. Damn
And if
right.
that doesn't work, one thing I would suggest is run some bath water.
Ooh.
Run some bath water. Get some Epsom salt.
Nice.
Mixed with some lavender.
Yeah.
I am certain that if you go in there, you will smell that lavender in that water. You will go into that bathtub and you will submerge yourself in that bath water with that lavender and Epsom salt. And I am certain that it will relieve the stress that you are dealing with. And I advise him to try practicing this at least once a week if he has the time. And as I always say, you should create the time if you're willing to invest in yourself. If you think your goals are important to change your family's life and to change your life, then you will invest in yourself. You will get in hot water, submerge in that lavender, release the stress, and put the oxygen mask on yourself.
Always about self-care. You're right. Thank you so much. Got to take care of ourselves first. And if we do want to work with you as a coach or book you for an event, for a business meeting, seminar, speech, motivational speaker, or want to get your books, remind us how we could do so, please.
Yes, you can, for speaking engagements, life coaching sessions, you can visit darrylbumpass.com. That's darrylbumpass.com. To purchase my books, to invest in my books, you can visit darrylbumpass.com or amazon.com. And you can also reach me across any social media platform at Darryl Bumpass Sr.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure having you here, my friend. And looking forward to the next time we connect, which I hope is soon. Hope it's next week, is it?
Yes.
All right. Awesome. I don't know my schedule till day of, but looking forward to it.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.